You're listening to Keeping It 100 with Mel and Bruce, sponsored by the 100 Black Men of Las Vegas. What they see is what they'll be. I'm Mel Tiller, your host, and today's guest is one of the most important men in our community. You know him. His name is Dr. Jesus Jara. He is the superintendent of the Clark County School District. Dr. Jara, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mel. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Listen, I so much appreciate you being on the show because the community always wants to hear what you have to say. Let's start out with this question. What excites you about this school year?
Well, that's an easy question. The kids. That
All right.
is our number one priority, is really to provide a high quality education for our babies from pre-K, kindergarten, all the way to the 12th grade. Being the first day of school, being in schools, is just really felt the excitement. But even before that, it's kind of all the back to school fairs and all the community support that we've had.
Yes.
Really seeing kids and seeing we're getting a little bit, the further away we get from COVID and what happened to us in 2021, 22, was seeing some normalcy back in our kids' life. So that is really exciting.
Great. Listen, what are you focused on? What are a couple of the initiatives that you guys are trying to achieve at CCSD?
Yeah, no, we got a few things, right? Obviously, when you really think about, the number one is our teacher pipeline, and really how do we close the gap? The last time that this school system opened fully staffed was in 1994, so that's always been a challenge for us. We're up to 94% of our classrooms being fully staffed, but you still have a 6%. It's been an increase of 2% this year. We've hired over more than 450 more than we did last year. Public education has been under attack nationally, but our recruiting team, and really looking at what we're doing across the country, but then also locally. We have really excited about another great partnership with Nevada State University now, with Dr. Pollard there, amazing leader, and really building a pipeline not only for our support staff to become teachers, but then also our students that are in the teacher academy. We're using some of the federal dollars to pay for their college education so they can go back into our schools. So a lot of great work that's happening. We still have gaps, but putting a certified, highly qualified teacher in every classroom is one of our top priorities this year.
So talk to me about what you feel you all really do well. In a job like yours, there's always a lot of criticism and that sort of thing that kind of goes with the territory. But from your perspective,
it does.
Listen, I've been in charge. I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
But talk to me about what you feel CCSD does really well.
So I'm going to tell you, this past 2.5 years, after coming out, building the team, building a school system from scratch. And I say from scratch, even though we've been here 100 years, I'm going to tell you what I've seen in the commitment of our community, meaning our staff caring about children. I think we all care. We all have different ways to do that. And I think there's, if you're out of the 40,000 employees, the commitment to success by our employees for our kids is by far doesn't go unnoticed from my office. That's number one. Number two is we're really passionate about building a high quality academic system. What we've put together from the team in the central office, supporting our principals, developing our principals so then they can support our teachers in professional learning. You got to take care of the adults, right? And you got to really support adults so then the adults are ready to support our kids. So I think that is one of the things that we have done really well in these last 3 years. But it's taking care of the adults to take care of the kids, giving them the tools. We have now aligned curriculum that's aligned to the national standards that we have to teach. That is historic for the first time in over 10 years. And I think the team has done a really, really good job in delivering that to our principals so they can deliver it to our teachers. So, that's just the instructional side. In our transportation side, last year, Jennifer Bovis, our director of transportation, was recognized as the top transportation director in the nation.
Wow.
And so that means our bus drivers, our board increased their pay. We don't have the vacancies that other districts are still facing, because when you increase pay, we've been able to recruit. We still have vacancies, but not to the level as we did before. So we're moving in the right direction. And I think those are things that have been from a commitment of the people, that the 40,000 employees that are here, committed to our kids.
Listen, there's always a lot of criticism that goes around when there are problems. From your and one of the things, one of the messages that I try to deliver on a regular basis is that this is an all hands on deck situation, and that the entire community has to participate in the solution. From your perspective, what can the community do to help CCSD?
First of all, number one, I'm going to tell you, for our parents, you need to be involved, right? You need to understand what's happening. Talk to your kids. If your kids, listen, I not my three kids are grown, but when they were going to school, right, you asked the question and said, well, how was school? It was good. It was teenagers don't want to talk to you, right? I mean,
no, they don't. No, they
love
don't.
you. They don't want anything to do with you. But you have to continue to pry and get to for them to share what happened, how did school go. So that's number one, is understanding what we're doing, and then contact us if there's if you're seeing that your child is withdrawn. If the kid doesn't want to come to school, there's got to be a reason. There is a reason. So let us know, so then we can help you. That's the number one thing. And I can tell you, as a parent, and for parents. Number two, what I can tell you, something that we're struggling with, and this is one of our struggles. Our absenteeism, it got better, it dropped, so it's getting better. But we have to think about, our kids need to be in school every day. Every day matters. Just like you show up to work, every single day matters. You got to be there. You're gonna come to work. You got to get paid. We have to instill that. And one of the things that I ask this community is, if it's very simple. Between 7 and 3, teenagers, young adults, babies need to be in the classroom, need to be in school. So, those are things that I ask you. If ask the question, why aren't you in school today? Remember when we were growing up, you knew if you weren't in school, and you were not allowed to be in the convenience store, because they wouldn't serve you. They saying you'd get to class, right? I mean, not that I missed a day or two, but that's the reality. So I need this community, and the business community, and our partners in our community, to say, to really go on this campaign with us. Like I've asked the mayors publicly, needs to be a all hands on deck about getting our kids to our classrooms, because our absenteeism rate is a little bit over 35% of chronic absentees. That means that kids have missed more than 10 days of school. That's not good, but we have to get there. But these are things coming out of COVID, right? When we were in COVID, we were saying, well, if you got a cold, we didn't know so much, we asked you to stay home. Now, send them to school so we can take care of them. Every day matters. I think this community, it's just really asking the questions, being involved, as to saying, at work, are your kids in school today? Do you have your kids in school in the community? Because that's the most important. I would tell you that is one of the most important things, that for our community to really have a passion about getting kids to school. Now, if they don't want to come to school, then you need to call us, because there's something going on that we need to address.
Now, as you know, I'm a retired Marine, and in the Marine Corps, leadership is everything. One of our major axioms is lead by example. Now, what many in the community may not know is, but I know because you and I have had many conversations, you also have a coach that you work with on a regular basis. So tell us, give me 2 or 3 things that you have learned and that you have gotten specifically because you're working every day to get better. Tell us a couple of things that you have gotten from your coach.
So I'm going to tell you, that's a great question. I do have a coach, a retired superintendent, that's been on the other side, right? And then also my mentor. I'm a much better superintendent today than I was 5 years ago. I can tell you that. And I'm going to be a better superintendent in 3 and 4 years than I am today, because there's that continuing growth. It's really, one of the things that is that I can tell you as he has been my partner and side by side is to really slow down and analyze things both ways, right? Because you're quick to make decisions as you know, I say I was 32 when I got this job 5 years ago, and now I'm 53, right? You have a sense of urgency because you want to fix things, right?
Yes.
What he has taught me is you got to slow down, make, you know, as you're making your decisions, you need to look at and then bring in a very small core group that can look at your blind spots that you may be missing because you're so intently focused on the decision that the closer you are to the problem or the decision, the less subjective you are. And that's what he always tells me. So being an outside partner, he can kind of objectively look at some of the pitfalls and blind spots that I may be missing.
I like that a lot. Listen, I greatly appreciate your time. I know that you have a lot to do and you have a very busy schedule. What would you like to leave our listening audience with?
I think, first of all, let me thank you, Mel, and the 100 Black Men for the partnership that you have been a great partner with us. Every kid is important. I want this community to understand that I believe and we believe we're far away from where we need to be. But I want the community to know if there's some issues to contact my office, contact us so we can get them in the right and address the challenges. I think the message is every day matters. Every single day, our kids need to be in our classrooms with our teachers, with our principals, with our support staff, and we'll take good care of them. So we're committed. And we need all of you to help us get there. So thank you.
Those are the words of our superintendent, Dr. Jesus Jara. You've heard it here on Keeping It 100 with Mel and Bruce. I'm Mel Tiller, and that's Keeping It 100.